Hello everyone, welcome again for another session. I hope everyone is doing fine. We have recovered finally today from the red candles after many days, and I think the markets did decently well. In fact, some of the stocks did really well, and I think even Nifty kind of recovered very well towards last half an hour. And I think overall the markets have formed a bottom, but we need some follow-up buying in the coming days. We might consolidate also going forward, but I think a bottom is in place. 18,000 level is kind of a strong bottom in markets. And I think it might hold on for some more time. Okay. So today, yeah, I did start before time because I think daily I joined a little late, but I thought I'll start a little early today just to have everything set up. I was also not sure if YouTube is going to work properly because of the problem I had yesterday. So that's why I thought of starting a little early. And yeah, I think sometimes it's okay to start early as well. Yeah, we have just 7 people who have joined us. So let's wait for probably a couple of minutes, and then we can go ahead. But otherwise, I think our portfolio, we had a few triggers today in our stocks. I'm not really happy with the amount of allocation, to be honest, but I think once the market turns good, I think we will have some days of consolidation, and then we'll probably add to some of the existing positions, and then we can take it forward from there. But overall, I still think there's some time left before we start really going very bearish. For now, small cap, mid cap, metals, every index has recovered today. So it's across the market recovery. So it's not only specific to only Nifty or only other indexes. I think overall, if you just look at the indexes, we've had a good recovery in small cap, we've had a good recovery in mid cap, and all around the previous breakout zones. Now remember, I did talk about metals, and I said that probably we are done, and we did kind of reverse. Especially, I think I spoke about Hindalco yesterday. Someone asked about Hindalco, and I did give my view on Hindalco. So I think overall markets have recovered well, and a bottom is in place. Okay, so let's look at the charts and let's get started. So Nifty, yeah, that's a red candle yesterday. It's not really a green candle, but yeah. Today we had a green candle after 5 days of red candle. Now that's some really positive sign for me. You can switch to the bars and you will see 5 red bars, right? So I have no idea why TradingView has this problem, but it does have problem. Now this is what you have to notice, right? So after a steep fall, if you notice the hourly charts or even the 15-minute charts, you'll see that the trend is kind of it was kind of flattening out, right? So we had a steep fall and we kind of started flattening out, and now we've had a nice recovery. Now yesterday we did discuss about this channel there, where I said if you're going to cross above 18,200 levels or even 18,180 levels, then probably we are kind of made a bottom and we are not probably heading lower. And then if you look at even the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, we kind of made a bottom and we reversed. So one of the good indications was the hourly charts, right? So after the first hour green candle, we had a red candle next, but then there was some more kind of we had a nice buying there towards the lows. We see continuous 3 hours, we had some nice wicks at the bottom that showed that there is probably the bottom in place for the day. And also we had a nice breakout, follow through breakout there, right? So I think if you were probably intraday trader, which I'm not, yeah, then you could have had a nice long there with a stop there and probably gone long, probably bought a CE, had some option strategies, you could have deployed that, and we could have made some money. But for positional traders, I think this trend might go on for some more time. Kind of you probably want to hold on to your longs, and I think we might probably test again the highs of 18,583, and then probably we are not we're going to consolidate or break out from there. But remember we spoke about this trend line few days back, and I said that we are probably, sorry, not that one, this one, yeah. So that trend line over there, and trend lines do help you, but sometimes they might deceive you. So you have to be careful and try to look for trend lines which are really, which have multiple touch points. Now this trend line I relied on because it had multiple touch points. Now a trend line with multiple touch points is always reliable, but a trend line with just 1 or 2 touch points, with 2 touch points is not really reliable. A third touch point and a reversal makes it a very good one. For example, this trend line here, was validated when it reversed from there, and now again this trend line has been validated again after it reversed here. So this trend line for me is very important, and also we've reversed from a very major support zone, right, which was the first gap that we've had. So overall, the summary is we have made a bottom and we are heading higher. So hopefully our portfolios also do well. Let's see. Okay, so the plan for tomorrow is, continue to be long. For me, the stop loss would be, if you're probably a positional trader, probably your stop loss can be around 18,200 or even 1800. But because it has gone up so much, I'd keep my stop loss around 18,200. And I am expecting more upsides from here. We have made some major breakouts. And from here, I don't think you should be looking for shorts. The short, we were looking for shorts only after we broke that level there. Right now, we have made complete higher high lows on daily time frame, on RE time frames, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. So there's no more, I don't think you really have to be looking for shorts. So all good. And I think, from here, markets should head higher. So let's look at our stocks. So today, surprisingly, Rolex rings did go below my GTT 1050, but somehow it was never triggered. I have no idea why. Sometimes probably it was in the first few minutes in the trade, that's why I didn't get triggered. But if you see, my Rolex ring is still there, 1050. I have not modified anything and it's still active, so I just let it be there. In fact, I didn't even notice. I noticed after an hour and I didn't see the GTT was triggered. So you might have the other way around as well. GTT might get triggered and it might go lower, but the chances of your stop loss not getting hit is very, very rare. It's once in a blue moon. I hardly see such behaviors. So I've kept Rolex rings as it is. That's the only holding which has been there since last week. So we kind of in a minor profit of 2.5%. Let's see how this performs. But today Rolex has given a very good closing, with some decent volumes. But I think this is going to head higher. So stop loss continues to be around 1050. We'll keep it there and let's see how this behaves. But the point to note here is we made a fresh high, we made a fresh closing. So probably we're going to head towards levels of 1240, 1250. And above that, we're going to see some good moves. So don't rush to trail your stop loss yet. Let's have some nice base and then we'll trail our stop loss. Next was RACL gear. I think we've had a nice, again, a follow through move today after that there consolidation. So we've had a nice, I'd not say proper breakout, but a candle closing above that high. So that's why GTT got triggered and RSCL is looking good. Our stop loss will continue to be around 488 and we'll keep it there. Now, Jubilant Industries, kind of hit upper circuit and we closed out an upper circuit. Again, I'm not really interested in this because we have a 3% position size, which is not going to really affect our portfolio. So in case we have some other triggers which are getting triggered, I'd probably move this, money to some other stock, because a 3% allocation on a portfolio, even if it moves to 20%, your portfolio is going to move 0.6%, which does not make sense to me at all. But I've just kept it there. So in case we see some other stocks performing, then we're going to move this money to that stock. Okay, now you might ask, then why even place this? I'm totally fine. If you want, you can place, your GTTs only below 10%, 12%, fix your, rules, and you can play with that. Yeah, these two, good luck. I'm removing it from this. It doesn't really make sense. It's gone down. But yeah, Jubilant Industries, as I said, once we have some other stocks moving, we'll then allocate this money to other stocks. Okay, but yeah, it does look good. It can head higher probably from here. Or if we have some nice consolidation, probably a short consolidation like this, then I'll probably add about that point and trail my stop loss at this point, but I'll then add a good quantity. But I'm waiting for such an opportunity, right? So we might have some kind of a consolidation like this once we cross the highs, and then I'll probably look at what we can do. But the chart looks excellent. For me, this is probably a multi-year breakout, and it's going to head much higher from here. But I just need a good entry point for the stock with a very small stop loss. And that's what I'm looking out for. Okay, next is Blue Star Company. I think this also was triggered, but the candle doesn't look really great. But yeah, it might take some more time before we break out. Again, here, if you see, there's a major consolidation which is happening around those highs there. And I think it's just about time before we break out, because since the last 5-6 months, it had a kind of sideways consolidation, and then we've had nice move with nice volumes last month, and this month it's just going sideways again. So I'm expecting a good breakout from this point. And also remember, the stock did not really go down in this entire last 5-6 days of red market. So it does still look good. It has broken above a key support there and is holding above. So I'm still bullish, and we can see some good moves. Just hold on to your stocks. CUB has given a follow-through breakout. Now CUB looks excellent on the long-term charts, right? So long-term charts, if you see, we've had a nice trendline retest. I mentioned this today, and we kind of having a breakout this month. and I think that this is going to be a good performer. There might be some resistance around 190 levels, but I think above 190 there is, a very high chance it can head to all-time highs again, which are around 240 levels. And that zone we might face some resistance, but for now everything looks excellent. Just continue to hold. The remaining stocks are there. We will continue to keep the GTDs. One more stock gets triggered and then we are done, because I don't really risk a lot. So right now, I think if a stop loss is hit, we are down to 1.14. So as of today, our portfolio is down 9% from the highs. So that's 9% drawdown, right? And below 10%, I'm not really comfortable taking more positions. I let my stocks perform and then I'll add more positions. Remember, we have 64% cash. So let it be there, let it sit idle, as and when the stocks stabilize and they move ahead, we'll keep adding more. But remember, these risks that we have right now is 0.5%. But the moment we get the next pyramiding opportunity in any of these stocks, we'll be going to take a 1% risk, and that should probably give us a good position size in most of the stocks. Okay, so that's my outlook. One of the stocks which did really well today was Network 18, which is our favorite stock. It has kind of again broken out, not broken out really, but it's kind of taking support around this zone here. It's yeah, so that's the chart on hourly, right? So you see a nice reversal around the zone. So our stop, as I said, is 68 here. And for positional traders, if you're an investor, probably you have to keep a deeper stop or wait for some nice consolidation. But this can also be a good investment candidate as well. But for that investment candidate, keep your stop cost to cost so they don't lose much money if it goes down. But here, still I'll keep 68, and once it crosses above all-time highs, then I'm going to tell my stop to 73 odd. Which means we're locking around 22 points or probably 40% profits in this particular stock. Okay, and I see a lot of strength in the stock, and we might probably break out in a couple of days from here. Okay, many other stocks are there. It's there in our list, but one stock which did hit a stop loss and did well today was Jindal Stainless. So if you want, you can go ahead go buy the stock with a stop around 160. So that's 30-point stop. It can still do well. I still have a lot of conviction in the stock. It's just that our stop loss was hit and we are out. But if you want to take a re-entry, go ahead and take a re-entry. If you want, you can also keep on early charts, keep a stop around 170 would be great, or even this master candle, which is around 70. Okay. So yeah, that's it from my side. So let's look at your stocks and your questions. Okay. Fine. We have a good number today, 36, and Deepak. Yes, we started early today, Deepak. Deepak Peswani has a question. Balaji Mines did pyramid today. How does it look? Balaji Mines. You should tell me, Deepak. You've been here for some time. I'm not sure what's the answer, but let's look at Balaji Mines. Right? Yeah, I have not really pyramid on this kind of a move, right? So this could be just a retest or whatever. But one of the good things is it has reversed from a major support zone. So it's a good thing that you pyramided, but your stop loss, I'm not sure where it is. Probably keep your stop loss 3500 levels, or even around the previous swing low could be your stop loss. Around 3150 levels, 3160 levels, around that zone. But I think it has reversed nicely today. And let's see, there can be some resistance around this level there. Okay, so just watch out the action. It might consolidate for some time, but I think it's an excellent company. On the weekly charts, it's still showing some strength. Yeah, except that week, their candle, I don't see a major problem yet. Probably if you go below 2270 is where I'll see a major problem. But for now, yeah, it does look good. Kumragari is asking on TCS. We said let's wait for a green candle, right? So yesterday we had a kind of a low wick. We kind of had a nice doji. Today it did try to go up. Wait for a green candle probably, and go take a position if you want. Right now, stop at 3450. But if it goes below 3450, please exit. But overall, if you see the index itself, right, index has not broken that major support zone which I'm looking at yet. So we are still comfortably trading within that major zone. So in the index still looks good. But TCS as a stock also looks good because it has just retested the previous breakout zone after that major move up, right? So we can reverse from here, but yeah, the gap down there, we might reverse probably till 3754, but there's a major gap down there. So you might want to be careful around the zone because you can see some good sell off there. Because remember, a lot of people are stuck around that zone and they might continue to sell when it comes there. But still, yeah, risky bet, you can take a position with 3450 as a stop. Okay. And VIP, I think VIP has done a retest, of that zone there. So that's the zone I'm looking at. It has probably done a retest, and it is kind of reversing, but not still strong signs. Now the entire stop for me here is still around 434, or if you're a little aggressive, you can keep your stop around 480 levels. But still, I think the uptrend is still intact in VIP. There's nothing to worry yet in VIP. Gabriel and JSL. JSL I've already covered. It looks excellent. Gabriel also looks excellent. It is close to a trend line. If you look at that trend line, it's still a nice setup. It has kind of had a nice breakout there, and it's close to the trend line. Support. It does look excellent. The chart looks good. Keep a stop around 144 and take a trade. It might work out very well. Okay, or above 160 to 163 also you can take a trade. JSL we already discussed. Next one. Shiva, that's a very good question. 5 to 6 touch points in the trend line. Some people say, so there are two ways of interpreting. I get your point about losing its strength. That does, for example, this one trend line, right? So we have one, around 2, 3, you have multiple touch points. So probably you can say 1, 2, and 3 major touch points, because you have to also consider the distance between trend lines, touch points. But it can act in both ways. But for me, in a bull market, I don't see a trend line breaking down any soon, unless there is some negative news in a market, or that stock has run up too much. In a stock which has just run up 20%, and if you have multiple touch points, probably it's going to pick up pace, and that trend line is going to get more steepened, right? So it will steepen more. So probably the trend line will go like this, and that's how trends evolve, right? So trend usually evolves from a flat base, then it starts picking up a trend, and then it becomes exponential, and that's when you have to be more careful at this point. Also look at the angle of the trend line. If the angle of the trend line is anything, for example, this one, right? So look at the angle here, it's 25 degrees. Now anything which goes above 45 degrees is where I'll be really cautious. And if there are multiple touch points, then that's going to probably break. But a trend line which is close to 30 or less than 30 degrees or 25 degrees, I think it will just hold probably for some time. And then obviously you have a flat zones where, you can probably take that as a major support zone. Okay, so that's my view on the trend lines. Abhinav, you can't really, most of the stocks do that, right? So most of the stocks do that, and that's just showing the stock. There is kind of buyers there, but that buyers are not really strong enough, and that's why the stock is coming down. Then what it does usually is it goes on for a few more weeks or a few more days. It will go sideways to absorb that supply, and then it will break out. Now, for example, JSL. Right now, JSL was a typical example. We've had multiple wicks on the top, right? Starting from there. Now, then you see it go sideways, kind of corrects for some time. And then again, you have multiple wicks at the top, and go sideways, and then you have a major move. So it does take some time, but finally, it will eventually head higher if we are in a bull market. Obviously, in a bear market, it's not a good sign. But that's why I always say keep your swing lows as top, and or just use a simple super trend, right? A super trend is a very simple indicator, right? So use super trend, default settings 10,3, and then the super trend indicator will tell you when the stock is going twice the volatility or thrice the volatility. In this case, it is thrice, right? So it takes the 10 candles, and then it has a period of 3. So you can even adjust that to 10,2, which is still better if you're a positional trader. So, but remember, your stop loss will get hit very often. So 10,3 is still better if you're a beginner, and you can use this as well, and you can follow a nice trend. So you can buy on a breakout. For example, here Jindal Steel had a breakout there, right? And then you kind of exit when it closes below the red, and when it's in green, you just trail your stop loss and get some really good trades, right? You can do that as well. We can do that in our stocks as well, right? And for example, Lakshmi Chem, if you had followed, you would have been out in the same way, right? So I'm just trying to show you here. So Lakshmi Chem, we'd have been out on this day, right? And you can follow this for many stocks. Right from here, if you see this super trend would have been an excellent indicator. You can also follow this and trade. It doesn't matter at all. It's up to you. But yeah, upper wicks, it is just not a sign that stock is going to crash. It's just probably some consolidation. Yes, Naresh, Jackson Fell has done really well. So both looks really good. We had a breakout, a follow-up, and a breakout again. So it does look good. And also, I think, what is the other stock you said? FCL. FCL also is looking good, right? So FCL is also close to the trend line. Now, this is the time I'll correct the trend line. So if you kind of go to the log chart, you can see that the trend line is taking support, around that point. So I check both, as I always say, I check both the linear and the log sometimes. Now in this case, the linear trend line kind of respected. Now it had a major reversal today, right? So both look good, excellent. Textile stocks, I'm not really tracking any of them. Nothing has come on my scanner. But yeah, one of my favorite is ICL. Ambika Cotton Mill is something that we have tracked, right? It is in our watch list, and probably it's going to give a close tomorrow above that point, right? But yes, textile stocks have been quiet. Probably they can perform. CCL I think is right around the support zone. If you see, we're right around the support zone, and I'm just expecting that it doesn't close below that support zone, because there are a couple of guys who already asked me on Twitter. So I think on the weekly charts, it's a major support zone for me, or probably until 326 is not closed. I think there's still chance that the stock can head higher. But right now we are close to a major support zone. Okay. And the other stock you were asking was IndusInd. I'm not sure. Yeah, bank probably you meant. Again, this stock is going sideways, right? So we've been I did mention this some time back. So this stock, if you see, has been close to the resistance, and I think it's just kind of a last day of, probably it should head higher. The stop can be 1085 odd, but again, I'm kind of bullish on the stock as well. It can do well going forward. Okay, so okay, Hemisphere prop had 0 sell 0 profits. So you picked any reasons? See, Kunal, short-term positional trades, fundamentals, I don't really think they matter. Even in some of the stocks, if you're trading momentum, I don't think fundamentals really matter. Because if a stock is heading higher, it'll continue to head higher until there's momentum and buyers. So yeah, fundamentals, only if you're considering an investment portfolio, probably have to consider such parameters. But if you're positional or swing trades, I don't think it really matters. Tata Power and this one, let's look at both. Tata Power, you can probably pyramid even, you can today also, you can pyramid, keep a stop on 207, you can even pyramid now, because I think that it has made a bottom because of, this major, it didn't really close below that point, right? So we kind of had a sell off yesterday, but then we kind of recovered. And I think this zone can be a proper support zone. Or what you can do is pyramid above that point there, right? So we're kind of having a short-term downtrend, probably can pyramid above that point. But again, as I said, the move has kind of flattened out. It doesn't mean it can not drop, but I think looking at the strength and all that, you can also use the EMAs and see where it's taking support. It's taking support around the 10 period moving average, right? So that's also one way. So usually after a massive move, the stock usually will take support around the 10-day moving average or the 20-day moving average, which is the red line, and then it will probably head higher again. But yeah, you can pyramid above at current levels, or pyramid above 265 odd. Even that's a good way to pyramid. Okay. The next is Airtel. I think Airtel is going just sideways after taking support on the trend line, right? So that's the trend line where I'm looking at. It's going sideways. So above 710 also you can pyramid. That's a good time to pyramid. Airtel. Okay, Varun has a question on Indian Bank. Varun, as I said, use super trend. If you have a one-way move up like that, then you're sitting on a good stock, use super trend. But remember, super trend can kick you out quickly. So for me, this move will consolidate at some point. Probably last 2 days you see that sell-off happening. So it can consolidate at some point. So wait for some good 3-4 days consolidation and then tail your stop loss. For now, you can keep your stop loss around 150 odd or tail your stop loss cost to cost. But I think the move has been excellent. Just give it some more time and it'll consolidate, and then you can tail your stop loss again. Or just use a 50-day moving average or 20-day moving average. Okay. Yeah, Vignesh, nice to see that JSL has the results. I didn't really track. Monal is asking views on Gujarat Ambuja Exports. Again, a very good company from a fundamental perspective. Yeah, it's just going sideways, right, Monal? So I think probably it's taking support on the trend line. Let's give it a check. Right, not really. Still some more time probably, right? But it's just going sideways. It might go sideways for some more time. If you want to pyramid the stock, pyramid this above 180, 83 levels. But the stock does look very good. It is just doing a sideways consolidation, and yeah, I think it's close to a resistance there, right? If we see this long term, there's a very nice resistance where it is kind of going sideways. right? If you see, it's right around the resistance, and I think it might take a few more days before, a few more weeks probably before it heads higher. But that stop loss for you can be around 150 levels. Okay, IFL Wealth Management. Yeah, I don't really track the stock. We are just facing resistance around the all-time highs. So probably some more days before it heads higher, right? So yeah, yeah. So I don't see any major trend lines here, but there's a major support, around that level there, right? You see, it's been reversing again and again. So yeah, you can pyramid above, levels of 1780. Keep a stop around 1450 levels. Okay. I have not given my thoughts yet, Monal. I'm definitely thinking a small case, but it does require a lot of time from my side. So yeah, just give me some time, then I can look at it. Yes, Vignesh, you can enter network 18 right now. Stop loss 68, as I said. Shankar, view on Happiest Minds. I think a lot of people are freaking out because of the major dips which are happening in Happiest Minds. But I think today it's reversed. The trend line which you see I've drawn here, probably it's reversed today, and it's hit a lot of stop losses. But I think if you can enter, today's should be low, should be a stop, because if it heads lower, then probably that trend line is invalid. But yeah, this you can keep also a stop loss at 1135, or conservative, enter above 1450 with a stop around 1220. Okay, but if you're already holding it, keep holding it with a stop loss around 1130. Probably it might head higher again. Okay, I don't see IT indexes yet, IT stocks yet breaking majorly. They're still okay. Okay, view on Mithon Alloys. So Mithon Alloys had, I think IMFA had really good results thanks to this Twitter, which I follow for updates, result updates, NIDS rocks. But yeah, I think Mithon Alloys is forming a cup and handle probably on the weekly, also on the daily. There's a nice cup and handle forming probably. But I think, yeah, it looks good. Keep a stop loss around 910, or you can buy even above 11. Right now you can buy or buy about 1200 with a stop around 910. Okay, so that's how I trade it. It still is an excellent stock. In terms of long-term structure, if you see, we're kind of trending in a parallel channel, and I see a lot of potential for it to head higher. I think it can be an investment candidate as well, and I probably, it can go higher from here. I don't want to give random targets, but if you have the patience to hold, keep a stop around 900 levels, and you can hold on to the stock. On the monthly charts, if you see, which has been going sideways, right? Nothing major has been happening on the monthly charts, so it does look good as well. Borosil Renewal, I think I mentioned this yesterday also, Binay. Both Borosil and Borosil Renewables both look excellent. I think they have been given a major breakout, after I think 3-4 years, and this has a lot of potential to go higher. So you can add even now. It's not a problem. Keep a stop around 400 levels, or if you are probably hold it for many years, considering the renewable theme, then a stop loss on 320, which is that low, or even around 290 can work for investments. But definitely this is probably a multi-year theme, I think. If a stock is usually breaking out of multi-year highs and it's making fresh highs, then that's going to continue for some more time. So definitely worth considering for investment. But yeah, you should go through those drawdowns of 30-40%. Denora, yeah, it's just going sideways, nothing much happening. So if you want to buy about 360 with a stop around 290 levels. Just going sideways since many days. I probably see a trend line here. That trend line. Yes, perfect. So I think it should reverse this week. Denora, right? So that's a nice trend line there, right? So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth time. So yeah, you can enter right now if you want to be safe. Then enter only above 360 levels. But if you enter right now, also it's fine. Keep a stop around 290. It can give some good moves going forward. Okay. Okay. Vallabh is asking, we are still following 0.5 risk on stocks. Yes. As of today, 0.5 risk. Our risk has to reduce, and only then we kind of increase our risk further. Okay. For now, we'll give our stocks some time to perform, and then we'll buy more stocks. Okay. Asian Paints and Deepak Nitrate. Jake is asking. Let's look at them. Asian Paints. I think I told this is a major support. It is kind of reversed today, right? Also in the weekly charts, if you see, you'll see a wick now. Right, so it has kind of not still closed below that point. So tomorrow or this Friday, if it closes above 2960, then it's very good for the stock. But as I said, it's a major support zone there, and yeah, I do expect a reversal in Asian Paints. Okay, if it doesn't hold yesterday's low, then yeah, we're going down further. Deepak Nitrate also has reversed from major trend line, or major channel, in fact. If you see, that's the channel that I'm looking at. It has kind of reversed. That's a spike below, again a major support zone. We reversed from a major support zone. Again, I don't see a problem yet in the stock. It's just the market panic. Momentum stock's cracking. This also is cracking. So it does look like it's reversed today. I can probably head higher. Stop loss should be yesterday's low, which is around 2260. Okay. Kunal, yes. Let's look at Sun Pharma. Yes, it's definitely a breakout retest. I did post this some time back, and I think we are close to a trend line. Probably Pharma. I kind of think Pharma has also bottomed out, given the moves today in Glenmark, Cipla, and many other stocks. It is a breakout retest definitely. Your stop loss here can be around levels of 740. And I'm expecting a move back again up towards levels of 850 and even higher going forward. But let's take a look at Pharma Index itself, right? Now, if you look at the Pharma Index, so I'll just go to the monthly charts. You will see that this was 2018 highs, right? And now we are kind of consolidating around those highs, right? Now, if you see the monthly charts, we're just forming dojis. Now, dojis, as I always say, can signal two things: a pause of the existing trend or a reversal of the existing trend. Now, in this case, I kind of see it as a pause. I don't really see it as reversal because the previous trend has been strong. And I don't see a major breakdown here because of the demand zone there. And every time it comes around that zone, it kind of reverses. Now, we are having a similar reversal today and this week. Yesterday, if you see, we had a major wick around that zone and we're kind of reversing. So overall, I think we are still paused. I'm still paused on Pharma, and some stocks can do really well in Pharma. Be selective. One of the strongest stocks in Pharma is obviously Sun Pharma. And for you all, I'm going to give one more stock, which is Moroccan, which is looking very good, which is close to a trend line support, and I think it can head higher from here. So Moroccan, if you see, we've had this trend line there, and I think it's kind of reversing again. Again, a very good green candle would be best thing to add, but a small risk right now you can take. Add a current market price with the stop loss at 46.5 or 46 also. Again, this zone is close to a major support zone, right? So we've been hovering around this zone for many months now, and I think that Moroccan can do well. It's a decent company. And I probably see a reversal from Moroccan Pharma as well soon. Okay, now if you're conservative, then you have to probably wait for some more time. Give it some time. It might go in between this and then head higher. But yeah, Moroccan looks really good, and it can break out in this month somewhere around November. It can break out. Okay, so that's one of the picks that I'm looking at. Okay, CDSL also has reversed from a trend line. I just checked it. If you look at this log charts, it has reversed from the trend line multiple times, right? And it is again going up today. It has hit upper circuit again today. 1440 is the level it has to break out. Then we're going to see some next round of moves, which can be a really good move. Okay, so that's CDSL. Abhinav is asking on IGL. Long-term portfolio only if it breaks weekly supports. Yes, and here it looks like it has broken major supports. Definitely, then yeah, it's time to probably look at taking some partial profits at least and moving out. But yes, that's a major breakdown in terms of weekly support, and I think it can head lower also, probably towards levels of 370 to 420. So that's the level probably it might take support around. If you want to take partial profits, definitely take partial profits. And if you want to add more, then the levels to add is not right now, but levels of 420 to 370. That's the level you want to look out for and add more. Okay. Also, one more thing. So just talking about CCI, because I always use it. You see CCI has already crossed below minus 100. But also note one thing: if you're really to give back profits, then you can also follow CCI going below minus 100 on the monthly charts. Now, if you see, many stocks don't really go below minus 100, especially if they're good growth stocks and if the sales and profits are decent. For example, if you take Asian Paints, right, it has never gone below CCI 100 on the minus 100 on the monthly charts. You can take any stocks and just check good growth stocks. They don't really, show very bearish momentum on the monthly charts. So that's also another way to do it. You need to find what works for you and try to find, your rules. Yes, Naresh. That's why I always say trend lines not always, take supports. Horizontal resistance are much more reliable than trend lines. So that's why we've seen, many charts breaking down. It's totally right. Always rely on horizontal lines much more than trend lines. Okay. I don't know, APL Apollo. Sorry, let's go daily charts, right? Now, APL Apollo has broken this trend line definitely. It has broken a swing low for the first time. and I think it can show some sell-off, right? But let's look at the overall charts. Now this has been a very strong chart, right? It has gone straight and now it's curving around, right? Now, one of the major zones that I see here is this zone. If it goes below this zone, then that's probably the top of APL Apollo tubes. Right? Unless it doesn't go below that, I don't really see a major problem. Right now, you see that's probably a very good range on the weekly charts, and also if you see that's the previous support levels, right? So that's what I have to look at from investment perspective. If you're a positional trader, probably you should have exited, but from investment perspective, I not exit the stock. In fact, my stop loss here would be 582. I'll probably wait until 580 doesn't break. I'll probably not exit that stock yet. Okay, but yeah, that's my view on APL Apollo. Well, it's always, for me, it's always the swing low. As you know, I don't really trust trend lines. That's why I always choose the swing low. But in some cases, like JSL, I'm a little aggressive always in my positions. So you could have told that probably I'd have waited, but for me that's how it is. So always keep swing lows as your this one. Or if you want to really be a little conservative, then keep 50-day moving average as your stop loss, and unless it doesn't go and close 2 days consecutively below the 50-day moving average, you can continue to hold stocks. That is even an excellent trend following. Now in this case, if you see from here 72, we've gone all the way up to 190. Right now, that's also some of the ways you can do it. 50-day moving average can act really well in a bull market, and usually stocks do not go below 50-day moving average in a bull market. But are you ready to give up profits? In this case, if you see from this high point, we've given back almost 22% profits. Are you ready to give that much back is also a question, right? But yeah, to answer your question, I almost try to use swing lows. Even though I look at trend lines more, I do look at swing lows to take my decisions. Okay. Monal Venki's was exit for positional trades. For investment, definitely it still has opportunity to go up. For investment, 2,400 is the level you have to watch out for, because that's a major swing low on the weekly charts. It still has an opportunity to develop, definitely to move up, but if you're holding on hope, then probably that's not how you do it, right? Yeah, that's my view. Okay, so I think we have done with most of your questions. I think I've answered everything. So in case you have more questions, do tag me on Twitter and I can help you answer, or just DM me on Twitter or DM me on or comment on any of the YouTube videos and I can answer them. Okay, otherwise we're done, and yeah, don't forget to like the video before you drop off. And as usual, always share the videos with your friends. We are growing. We crossed 1,500 subscribers on YouTube, and most of you have been learning. And I did run a poll, and around 80% said that they've either learned or they've made money. So in fact, 30% of you have said that you also made money. I'm really happy for that. But do remember that in bad markets, you might not make that much money. It's all about managing a risk in the in bear markets. So I hope we'll learn that also slowly. But otherwise, I'll leave you here. Take care. Stay safe and trade safe. I'll see you tomorrow again. Thank you. Bye bye.